The next song is Tranquility. This song is one of the more experimental ones. This is one where I was kind of like, I just want to do whatever I want, and I'm just going to think about making something that I think is just unique and different. And so it's just addressing stresses that people deal with. You know, tired of going to your job sometimes, everybody on your back, pressure, rising for crazy different things. And I purposely made it a really, like, I gave it a really high BPM, like beats per minute, like really fast, almost like a booty bass type of song from like back in the 90s. Mainly because I think sometimes when we're stressing about different elements of life, or we're concerned about things, or we're not really living in our element, or we're just out of our zone, the world seems to be going so fast around you, or it seems like you're missing out on everything. And so I wanted the music to be that fast, and then that's why the verses, like even when I rap on the verses, they're extremely fast and everything like that. And the song was just talking about, you know, making sure that, you know, when you're in these positions that you stay focused on what it is that's important. Don't, like, you know, fall through the cracks. And it's okay to go one step at a time, which is why I keep talking about one step. You know, you just take one step. You know, it might not be a lot, but it's more than where you were before you jumped into your situation. You're one step ahead of where you were 5 minutes ago. And so that's kind of like what that song is about. And just wanting to be in a place of tranquility, of happiness, where you don't have to answer to anybody, where you can come and go as you please, and there's no, I don't want to say there's no consequences to your actions, because damn folks would be doing all kind of crazy stuff all the time, but, you know, there's just, you're in a space where you're just living in the moment. You can enjoy life. That's kind of what that song is about.
I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. Cruising down the city road, no lanes, but symbolic of a high from a liberated change. No rules, no signs, it's a ride untamed. More authoritative calls for your souls in your name. And enjoy to come and go as I please. Let me live in a world where my thoughts and my dreams can escape from the cuffs of the clouds and the dust and the bars and the way. Let them fade in the rest.
Family values, the interlude. I just said that because I know this interlude has my cousin Brandon. So this interlude, my cousin Brandon flew in one random day, and I said, yo, you gotta be on my album, man. We got, like, my cousin Brandon and I pretty much grew up together. In like Savannah, Georgia. Like, if I wasn't in Seattle, I was in Savannah, or I was in Europe. That's kind of like the three places that I lived growing up. Like Seattle, Savannah, Washington, and then Savannah, Georgia, Vicenza, Italy. Those are like pretty much where my childhood reigned. But I always went to Savannah, Georgia every Christmas, summer. When my parents both were in the military, and they both got stationed at Camp Casey, Korea, which is like, I think right by the DMZ. With you know, between North and South Korea, and so families weren't allowed to come, only just people who were in the military. So I stayed and lived with my grandma, my aunt for like a year and a half, and I think he was there too, and we were on like 2 or 3. So we're just real close. And so I was like, yo, we should do an interlude. Just, I don't know, because at first I was like, yeah, you should rap something. I'm a rapper. We just gonna go back and forth. And I was like, nah, let's not rap. Let's just talk about our family. I think that'd be funny, because literally, our family is just like everybody else's family, but you have stories for days. Like when he and I were younger, we used to put on variety shows and crap for the house and do skits and stuff. So that was pretty much us just having fun in the booth, just talking about childhood stories that happened, things that, you know, we laughed about. And literally the actual interlude was like 12 minutes. So I had to sit here and chop and piece together what I wanted to keep. Because otherwise we would have been there for all day listening to this interlude, because we had stories, man. And so that's a fun interlude. Then the most traumatizing experiences had to be my father giving us haircuts. He used to put a bowl on our head and cut around it.
Hot clippers hurting.
Clippers used to be cooking. Then have the nerve to ask if he wanted a part at the end. Like he was Sean Kemp. The next one is... Oh, Pops. Okay, so clearly, yes, my father had passed away. And so I wanted to make a song that I dedicated to my dad, but I didn't want it to be super sad. Because there's enough of those songs, you know? Like, there's some songs I listen to, and I'm like, I can barely get through the song, because you just start tearing up every time. Like Luther Vandross, that's what my father's one. I can never get through the bridge. By the time he gets to the line about, you know, he hears his mother crying in another room, he prays for her more than me. I was like, that was me too. I did the same thing. Like, so I'm like, nope, I want a happy song. And so, it starts off, and you think it's about to be this super sad ballad. And initially it was at first. It was like this really mellow piano thing, and that's all it was going to be. And then I was like, you know what? I want it to be funner than that. Like, let's let it be upbeat. Because my father was not a somber, sad person. He wouldn't want something sad. And so I was like, it'll start off very mellow, because at least while I'm singing the verses, I don't want the music to drown out what it is I'm singing about. So, I'll have the solo pianos on the verses, but by the time you get to the pre-chorus and the chorus, which I'll get to the chorus in a second, it's just, music is just, it's just going. And so initially the inspiration behind the music was, I really like Chance the Rapper's Good Ass Intro off the Acid Rap album, and I really like Janet Jackson's Empty off Velvet Rope. And so it's kind of like, if you could throw those two songs together, that's what the climax of the album is kind of like. Originally there was a chorus, but I took the chorus off because I was in love with just what I did with the music, and I was like, I don't even think it needs words. Like, I think the music speaks for itself, because I think the music is so unique and there's so much going on, and for me, the music symbolizes transition. It symbolizes evolving. And so when you're listening to the song, it starts off mellow and it builds and it builds, and then it just skyrockets to like this, and then it cools back down and brings you back to reality, and then it does it again, and then when you get to the bridge, which I know my neighbors hated my guts when I did the bridge. If you haven't heard the bridge of the song, it's like me singing in this really, really high falsetto note while I'm doing it. I know my neighbors were like, if you don't shut the, because I had to do about 3 or 4 takes to get both of those notes right, and then try to harmonize with them. Man, I know them neighbors were like, man, if you don't shut up, because it was really like 6 in the morning when I was doing that song. So I know they're like, are you serious? But the thing about it is, like, when you're excited or when you're doing something, you don't get to sleep. You wake up randomly. Like, I'd wake up at 4 in the morning, like, oh, okay, let me just do a piece of this because it's in my head right now. Or you'd be like laying in your bed or something, and an idea would come. You'd be like, oh, well, let me just get up and just, get my phone and just record it in the phone, and I'll play it back when I wake up. And hopefully I still remember what it is that I did. Like, in my phone, I have probably a few hundred voice notes of just ideas and stuff like that. And so the Song of My Father, I think, is a great way to go out. In the beginning, that's actually the answer machine. That's his voice in the beginning of it. It's the answer machine from the house. When he first died, I used to just call it the house when my mom was at work, just to hear the answer machine, just to hear his voice, and give me my element of normalcy, And so my mother loves that song, by the way. She didn't even know I was working on an album. She didn't even hear it until today. So that's kind of cool, too. I was very tight-lipped about it, which was very hard. I wasn't tight-lipped with you guys, though. I told you guys what I was doing. But my actual friends, other than the 3 that are on the project, nobody knew about it, really, minus a person or 2. When they play that. The next song, Breathe, I think is probably my absolute favorite song on the album. And I think it's the one a lot of people connect with. And it was a song I literally wrote for myself, just about managing in situations where you feel like you're not in control, which is one thing that I think a lot of us struggle with. We struggle with wanting to be in control of everything, and when we're not in control, we feel uncomfortable, we freak out. And so the song is about, one, being a help to others who are in desperate need of help. They need your moral support, they need your encouragement, they just need you to call and check on them on occasion. And then it's also about not throwing in the towel when you're put in a situation that you don't think you can handle and everything like that. And so that night, the way that song came about, my cousin Brandon was actually flying in that night, because he was flying in, and that same day was the day we were going to record the Family Values interlude. So while I was waiting for him to come from the airport, because he had an hour, I was kind of just randomly sitting, and I just randomly was beatboxing for some reason. And I'm like, it would be kind of cool to have a song that's based around me beatboxing, but I still have some kick drum on it, and just maybe 1 or 2 soft pads and nothing else, just something real laid back and mellow that you can ride in your car to, or if you're on a really good date night or something, you got the music playing, and that's the song that playing in the background, and it's just real mellow, doesn't mess up the flow of anything. I was like, I gotta make a song like that. And so I literally made that track in 20 minutes, because I was in a race against time between his planned landing and me driving to the airport and everything. And so I made that track in 20 minutes, which is why it's just, there's nothing on it. There's no extra production until the very end. There's a little bit of bass that was added, like a bass line. doom doom doom, and then dun, 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 dun. Like that's literally it. And so it's just a simple thing. And so now I wrote and did the lyrics much later. Just the track I did in like 20 minutes, but the actual lyrics and stuff, I wrote over the span of a few days, recorded over probably like a week and a half. And what I purposely wanted to make sure was, because the track is so mellow and laid back, I wanted everything to stay in that same pocket. So I didn't want a whole lot of wailing and yelling and hollering on it. And so it's a light feathered vocal that's given. And I really just like the lyrics that it's about. You know, it's just really about, again, you know, you're not in control of everything, but when you're in these situations that are terrible, just know that time period, that phase of you living in that period of uncertainty is going to pass on at some point. So don't dwell in it, just press through it. It is what it is. And I think it's a perfect follow-up to my father's song, because my father's song, you know, you just sang about the death of, you know, your father, but you don't want to sit and dwell in sadness, because, you know, at this point, you know, he's been gone for 2 years, and if you were still in the same place now that you were 2 years ago when he died, you might need to work on yourself, because life goes on, and you've got to be prepared for the next person that's going to kick the bucket later down the line, unfortunately, because that's just the way life is. And so I think it was a perfect follow-up to the song for my father, and it's inspiring, I think, you know, for anybody who's dealing with something, or who's just in a position where they feel like, I don't know what to do next. It's just, and I think that's why I purposely made sure that the vocals and the delivery was just very laid back and soothing, just to relax you, kind of. It's a perfect follow-up to that song. I really like that song a lot. And it's so funny because literally the day I recorded the song, I finished recording the song, like the next morning, I get like this rejection letter from a film school I really thought I was going to get into. I was like, damn, I ain't getting into nobody's school. I'm just getting rejected left and right this year. This is just a year of no, ain't it? Which is funny, because then in the song there's a line talking about when he answers you get a no, a yes is pending. I was like, boom, that's okay. I got a yes pending, so F that school, and it's okay. Y'all ask me to be a keynote speaker in like 20 years, and I'm going to say no. But, so that was that. I was like, hell, I got an album coming out. I don't need y'all. I don't want to do film right now. But no. And so it is what it is. I'm reapplying.
To the one whose life feels empty, waking up with the skies are gray, and the thoughts and the dreams are simply of what is just make it to the next day, and all but the soul is missing, chained down in the spaces of castaway, seeking remedy and refuge, payday to pass on, payday to pass on.
And so the next song after that is Charades. And Charades is one of the earlier songs. Yes, this is another song that made the cut. This is one of the songs from October, November that actually was able to make it through all the chops and the cuts. And so if you saw my video when I did it was like a Your Questions, My Answers, or like an end of the year for 2016 video. I can't remember which one. That was the only other time I announced that I was doing this album. And I had said that I was originally doing a double album. It was going to be one album with all the fun stuff and a second album with some smooth jazz. Like, I really, really love jazz music. When my father was still alive, Seattle used to have this station called 98.9 Smooth Jazz, but they're stupid and they got rid of it. It was such a good station. And I mean, he would always have that station on when we were riding in the car. And so I just had this great appreciation for like Norman Brown and a lot of the other people that, you know, make jazz music. Kenny G's cool, but you know, they gave him a lot of credit for stuff that other black folks have been doing. But you know, so I really enjoy all the jazz things and like Charades and everything like that, and Dana Owens, aka Queen Latifah, her jazz projects were really good. And so I wanted to do a double album, and I was like, hey, you're doing a lot, just slow down. And so what I did was, I liked the track that I made with it, with the sax, and I was like, well, why not take this song that would have been on the jazz album and just make it a little bit more commercial and do something different with it. And so, you know, I rap on it, and the song is just basically about a guy who just has a really horrible day. You know, he gets a job that he's excited about, job doesn't go that well, he gets fired, and like basically in the job he was canvassing, trying to save the building that he lived in, or his neighborhood, because it was being gentrified. And so, you know, he's trying to save his building, he doesn't get enough signatures, he gets fired, he goes to the store. While he's in the store, a bunch of teenagers run in there and tear up the store and steal everything. And so while he's leaving, you know, he sees this young lady that he wants to talk to, and while he's trying to spit his little game to her, The store owner sees him and thinks he's one of the teenagers that broke into the store and did everything. So the store owner cracks him over the head with a freaking bottle, and then pins him down. And the police come, and the guy's trying to say, I bought my stuff and left. I was trying to buy a lottery ticket. It was some other kids. But then there was this random woman named Allison who was like, no, it was him. I saw him in the store. He did it. Whatever. And Allison really had him confused because Allison had met the guy, but she met him when he was canvassing and trying to get her to sign the petition, but she didn't really pay that much attention, so she assumed he was one of the teenagers that, broke into the store and stole it. So the guy goes to jail. That's the story. But I like the song. It has a kind of somber vibe to it, but I like the saxophone that's in it, and it's just really smooth, and I like it. This portion of the album, from like my father's song to this song, is kind of like a little bit heavier as far as the subject matter. I wanted the second half of the album to start actually having some subject matter in it. Like the first half is a lot of fun, lots of parties, but I feel like it would have been a slap in the face for all of the social issues, and as much as I get cussed out on this channel for talking about things that are near and dear to my heart, it would have been really awkward if I would have just had an album and I didn't talk about anything going on. And so that song kind of tackles gentrification, it tackles the idea of stereotypes and generalizations about groups of people and elements of hidden fear, and sometimes when you talk about people being allies but they're not really allies and things like that. So that's what that's about.
This is a story about the travels of a man. Had a brand new job, excited with the clipboard in his hand. They made him walk the streets and pull the people to the side, collecting signatures to save the blocks that wasn't gentrified. After several hours and the minimal support, his nerves were shook up to the core about the news that he report. He went up to his boss and showed the numbers that he made. Fired on the spot, a victim to the system of charades. Let the music play.
The next song is The Cool Down, which is actually one of the very last tracks that I recorded. I think I made The Cool Down on like the 26th of July. And I was like, I cannot possibly live in DC for 11 years and not have one song that has some kind of element of go-go on it. Like, go-go's awesome. I didn't like when I first moved here. I used to feel like, man, this is like some stuff like when you open the cabinet and you didn't have the pots put away properly and they all fall out. That's what I used to think go-go was. Like, that's what reminded me of go-go. Because when I heard about go-go, I was told, oh, it's going to sound like all the Rich Harrison stuff he did with A. Marie with one thing and Toni Braxton with Take This Ring and Beyonce with Crazy in Love and Jennifer Lopez with Get Right. I'm like, oh, that's going to be cool. And then when I got here, I was like, what is this? What am I listening to? But as I lived here longer, and then like the church that I had joined is like not really a traditional kind of church. And it's like, it has like a go-go band. And then I started learning like, okay, go-go is actually really good if you're there when it's live. And so over time, I really started to appreciate go-go, and I actually love it now. And so I was like, I want to just pay a little bit of homage to DC and the go-go sound. I didn't want to do too much, so I didn't do a full song. I just did an interlude. Because again, I'm not an original DC resident, and so I don't want to be somebody to come and snatch something they already had going and try to claim it as my own. But I can pay homage to it in an interlude. And so it's called The Cool Down. So the next song is Black Woman. Now, Black Woman initially was supposed to be written for my mother. And then as I was writing it, I started thinking, I'm like, this is bigger than my mom. Because I started thinking, like, to be honest, the majority of the people in my life who played a significant role with where they came to, like, pushing me to really, live in my creativity or, do great or just try to be a stand-up guy and everything like that. Most of the people who really were in my ear were black women. There were men that helped raise me, and my father was awesome. I didn't really have a lot of uncles. I didn't have any black male teachers ever. I had one black teacher in my entire K through 12 experience. I had a bunch of white women and white men that were my teachers. And there's nothing against that, but sometimes you need somebody of your similar background who understands your experience and the shoes that you walk in, because there's an element of relatability that can exist that you're not going to be able to get from another teacher that's from a different cultural background, even if they are great. Sometimes there's just some things that don't connect. And so, it's literally like black women are pretty much the foundation of why I'm the way I am today. And so I was like, well, let's make this a different song that kind of pays homage, kind of. And also just, it's like a song of gratitude. so whether it's been friends or exes or mother figures or godmoms or, Sunday school teachers and everything like that, or even just, the lady at the grocery store. It's all of those people that have played some kind of significant role in it. So it's like a thank you. It's just it's a fun song. It's light, easy production. It's also one of the very last songs I recorded as well. Because I was like, dang, I can't do a song for my dad and I do it for my mom. She's gonna be a hater. She's gonna be cussing me out about it. So I was like, okay. And so that's how Black Women came about. And I purposely did like a really simple vocal on it. I didn't want to do anything too heavy because I think it's, again, the music is so smooth on it. I was like, let it just carry. Just let it ride. And it has a fun, upbeat sound to it. I think that also might be one of the songs I push. I'll kind of see. I'm going to start asking people, like, what are the songs that really stick out to you? The good thing about when you have 17 songs on an album is you have many, many options for what you want to push as a single. But no, Black Woman is a tribute to Black women. And it's also just talking about some of the things that they deal with. And, there's a line like, it's so important that we don't go and mistreat her. Just because the world, it does already. And, in this society, she fights to see her visibility. Things like that. And I think it's true. I've said this before, and that's why I always fight for Black women on this channel. Black women, sometimes their voice is hijacked from other people. People will erase what it is that they want to say. They will erase their existence. They will erase their legacies. They will erase any contribution they've ever made, and they will silence them all the time. So this song is just saying, listen, I'm here with you, and I got your back, kind of. So that's what that song's about.
She is a root to every dream I like to see, and she loves to love. Her rain sweeps away the darkness, hurt and grief, just because of a touch. Way to ecstasy, she has the key. She lifts you off your feet. Why? She's a Black woman. I love. My Black woman. So Black woman. Strong Black woman.
The next song, we're winding down, aren't we? Destiny. And so one of my friends, Sinead, who is like an actual real singer, she was over and I was like, well, listen, you got to be on this album too, so do something. So the track that she's singing to is one of the first tracks I made. I think I made that back in October. But I didn't know what to do with it, and I was like, I know I want to make it an interlude. And so literally she just was like, boom, I got it. I played the track, she sat down, she wrote something, recorded it in like one take. I was like, you make me so sick with your perfect singing self. Some of us are not gifted in that lane. And so she recorded it, it was cool, but I was like, listen, you only doing the interlude because you're not about to be out singing me on my own album. So you're doing one verse, and then just to make sure that people still know it's my album, I'm going to be singing the backgrounds. And so that's what that was. But no, she's awesome. And so it was a lot of fun doing that. She's also the same person I did a web series with back in the day. And so that song's just about, putting your stuff together, going out there, and just being great. Especially, and that's more so, she wrote it and she geared it towards Black men. Living in your destiny, making sure you amount to what it is that you want to be, not letting society pull you in and letting you become another statistic, because that's what society wants to do to us. And so that's what that song's about. And it's like kind of perfect because it's like, I feel like Black Woman is that supportive song for, Black women, but listen, Black men, I'm still down here with you, because the only other song I had for like Black men was Charades, but it's more of a homeboy just had a horrible day. I was like, well, we need something encouraging too, so Destiny's kind of perfect for that.